Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Soulstorm cast this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 2 vs 2 on Doom Spiral. Playing on Team 1 as the Chaos Space Marines, we've got Bad, Johann Sebastian and Scouty. For Team 2, playing as the Space Marines, we've got DD and we have got Infinity. So we are, there's rain, there's potential for pain, and we are seeing the Scouts of the Space Marines running straight across to say hello to their heretic cousins. After all, if you look at the map as a whole, it's quite a small map, so rushing tactics is definitely a thing that can work in your favour, although I don't know how the Scouts on the northern side are going to fare, considering that Scouty is opening with the tried and tested Cultist Grenade Launcher opening. Cultist being very cheap, Grenade Launchers also being very cheap, quite handily capable of dealing not only with Scouts, but also with regular tactical Marines as well. These guys will struggle a bit, but we are seeing some regular Chaos Space Marines coming out to see if they could deal with these guys as well. Suppose these guys will take up better towards the mid to late game. Also a Chaos Lord coming out as well to see what they can do. But the early game between the Chaos Space Marines and Space Marines, quite similar as you can imagine. Main difference obviously is their Scouts and the little Cultists, just because they've got their grenade launchers. Then again, some sniper rifles on these bad boys wouldn't go amiss against a mass of Cultists, just depending on whether they can keep out of slicing distance. But just a bit of wombling around at the moment, not probably trying to get any major kills, just kind of seeing what's going on. Ideally you want to be capturing some bits and bobs in the centre. Although it's not the vanilla map, but I think it might have been the Unification or the Ultimate Apocalypse map, where they've got these bits open as well, and a strategic point on either side. So there's not a lot less to gain on this version of the map when you control the centre. But extra critical location, after all, that is the countdown thing. There is only one, so whoever controls the central piece does win eventually. There's a lot of Cultists. And interestingly enough, not sure if it's Heresy, but the Loyalists and the Chaos are a similar hue of blue. So whether that's something to do, I don't know. Maybe there is a, secret lore kind of thing going on. Force Commander having to run away from the Chaos Lord. He is outnumbered and will be beaten in a straight up 1 versus 1 with fire support involved. Yeah, getting bonked. And every time his bonks has been slowing down as well, will join his squad of Scouts just to reduce the incoming range damage. Listing Post been upgraded to hopefully fend him off, but with Commander Armour and a strong health pool, going to take more than just an upgraded Listening Post to sort that bad man out. Force Commander over here doing exactly the same, and point blank refusing to give one iota of care to these Cultists. He's going to stand there, there's no knockback for him. And one by one, taking him out, but even his mighty bolt pistol can't handle this huge array of Cultists. Will have slowed down any potential tier 2, which I assume maybe a little bit of a rush from someone? No, not quite. In fact, is a rush from anyone for this? No. Everyone's invested enough into the early tiers. Suppose you don't want to be caught with your proverbial trousers down on such a small map as these. There we go, snipers are on the field. Very expensive, 40 blue and 20 green. But with the vast majority of the enemy forces consisting of Cultists, if you can get a good few sniper volleys off, as then wipes off the board in theory, could really do with the infiltration research as well. But are you going for that? Doesn't seem like it. I can't see any research bars going on, but I don't want to miss out on any of the action. Cultists are losing some models on the northern part of their formation, and will be falling back. A sustained combat encounter is not well within their favour. But at the moment, even Stevens on map control. Second squad of Chaos Space Marines are out. And yeah, with that initial skirmish out of the way, I reckon now is the time for getting your economy nice and safe. Although, mind you, this listing post, you are upgrading it then, so not going to be as vulnerable as you would expect. Cultists now going to put some pressure on the Space Marine base down here. Tier 2 on the way for them. Will not really want to tussle around with this upgrade listening post there. Now, I thought at least the Chaos Lord to absorb that damage. But Chaos Lord over here just eating a whole bunch of sniper rifle fire. Thankfully, the commanders are particularly resistant against sniper rifles for reasons beyond my ken. You would expect leaders to be weak against sniper rifles, but I suppose, you know, someone's got to. He doesn't need a helmet against him. You can headshot him all day long, and he'll just stand there and take it. The forces of chaos keeping that dome, that cranium alive. Critical location has been denied. And tainted Auspex, lovely placement. Not because it'll catch them if they go infiltrated, but if they fall back, they might not suspect that being there. A little wily stratagem from Johann Sebastian, or Jonan, depending on what side of the Pennines you find yourself. Chaos Armory being researched. I assume the Chaos Space Marines will be going for a fistful of heavy bolters to counter the Scout Marines. Tier 2 finished for Infinity, going for an armory himself. Tier 2 has finished for DD as well. I will refrain from breaking out into the theme song of Dexter's Laboratory there. Just know that I could. Just know that I could. Tier 2 about to finish for Jonan or Johan. Tier 2 already done for Scouty. And the traditional Defiler. That's what I want to see. Teching from your cultists with grenade launchers. Wombo combo their grenade launchers with the artillery fire of the Defiler. And you've got a lot of knockback. And I do quite like how both Chaos Space Marine players aren't going to go for the same thing. I assume Hell Talons from Johan. Or maybe even a Chaos Rhino to pop these double Chaos Space Marine squads in. Got the mobility of these lads with the level of firepower that they could bring to the table. Along with the boom and the blast of the Chaos Space Marines. Whereas Space Marines at the moment, they're just stuck on their sniper rifles at the moment. I'm going to go for vehicle cap increase, Landspeeder Tempests. Interesting choice. I suppose the Force of Chaos do need to get their Demon Pit and their blooming whatchamacallums, the Pink Horrors, to get any kind of mobile anti-vehicle, unless of course they do go for the Hell Talons. But I think a massive land speeders with their crack missiles could do a fair bit of damage, especially when properly supported with some Space Marines and missile launchers. Have a Sorcerer on the front lines. Pretty deadly if they're able to maybe chain the Scout Marine squad down to the floor. That could cost them a lot of resources, as mentioned, with the expensive nature of the sniper rifles. Chaos Space Marines dropping out. Although they do not have their heavy bolters at the moment, they're dropping close enough to be able to do the damage to the Scout Marines before the morale is broken by the sniper rifles. 2 squad wipes there. Lovely bit of play from the Chaos Space Marines.
At your command.
Another Defiler comes on over as one has fallen. Rhino Chaos Space Marines fall back, and they've killed the Scouts. They've got listening posts down. Maybe even squeezed out a cheeky decat, but got regular old land speeders and the Tempests. Infinity going high, whereas DD is going low. And just the firepower that these guys can bring to bear against lightly armoured infantry. That is the cultists more or less deleted, unless of course they can sort the land speeders out. Rhino has been killed, but just a spare Rhino. You never expect a secondary Rhino. Always comes out to play, although these guys seem to be reluctant to get inside. Bit cramped, I imagine. There we go, they get in. Chaos Lord almost blasted into the back doors there.
6 minutes until take and hold victory.
And the Chaos Space Marines having access to the critical location. Landspeeders going around the flanks. I mean, they've got a lot more anti-infantry firepower on them. So again, more beautiful teamwork here. Complementary unit compositions. And the Chaos Sorcerer also goes down as well. Landspeeder getting smashed in. But that's okay. That is the infantry of Scouts taken care of, with the Defilers having to make their slow way back home. But there's the Hell Talon. And ideally he wants to be focusing on the land speeders and avoiding the Tempests if he can. Not until he gets at least a few more aircraft in the air. Having people being deep stricken in, which I assume are going to be horrors, but turning which a little bit too late. That's the one problem with the land speeders and the Tempests, is that they are remarkably fragile. Cannot expect them to play a part in a sustained kind of combat when the correct weaponry is on the field. Got a Chaos Sorcerer from Mr. Sebastian himself. One singular scout with a sniper rifle holding that line, and what are the Space Marines going to go for? Hellfire Dreadnoughts, not a bad idea. Awesome. Oh, you've got some Terminators. Oh, you've just tacked up as a tier 3, haven't you? Yep, some stalwart heavy infantry. Should be able to resist the incoming damage, as long as... Ah, yeah, it's because the Chaos Space Marines now getting heavy bolters rather than their plasma pistols. Those Terminators should be able to stand firm, especially if DD also gets a couple of Terminators himself. They're coming straight on in. No messing around. They know what they want. And there they are, the Imperial Fist yellow Terminators. Scaring those horrors away. But this is a right kerfuffle for DD, about to lose his listing post again. Plenty of horrors to bother the Hellfire Dreadnought. But just out of range. I mean, the horror's been knocked around quite a lot, so you're not getting a full squad firing directly towards the Hellfire Dreadnought at present. And there's the Assault Terminator veterans. Now, these guys are not going to be realistically doing too much damage in close combat, because it takes them a million years for their slow movement speed to get into close combat, but it does force these guys to fall back and reposition.
3 minutes.
Chaos Rhino about to be blasted down, and those Chaos Space Marines are now in absolute agony with their positioning. We'll have to run all the way back as the Land Speeders and the Hellfire Dreadnoughts just fire at them all day long. Definitely need to get the critical location decapped there ASAP, as they have just got over 2.5 minutes. Down this side, Hell Talon and a Cultist squad slowly peppering this listing post. We'll see personal teleporters, which will massively improve the maneuverability of the Terminators for Infinity. Triple Hellfire Dreadnoughts scaring everything away. We just need a decapping unit to come over here and snag this critical location. Chaos Rhino transport going around the flanks. And I mean, they're brave, trying to fend off 3 Hellfire Dreadnoughts on their lonesome, but I suppose that's an issue. You can't really pop your horrors inside the Rhinos. The only really option is to teleport them in. But in a back and forth match like this, a lack of maneuverability does mean that once something's thrown in, you're probably just sacrificing it in the long run if you don't gain the upper hand. More horrors there. Both of them owned by Johan. With these guys on the front lines, Hellfire Dreadnought will have to fall back. Critical location has been decapped. There's a chaplain out for fun. And a librarian as well. I mean, the Space Marine's one major bonus for them is their absolutely stellar trio of heroes. Librarian doing a lot of damage with his smite and such. Chaplain with the health regen. Force Commander, obviously, for the 1 versus 1 dueling potential in close combat and the orbital strike. A lot more flexibility than the Chaos Space Marines commanders, which, don't get me wrong, that Chaos Sorcerer as a utility hero, remarkably good, but doesn't have quite the same level of staying power as a Librarian does. Because the Assault Terminators ready to bonk. I do quite like that. I don't know if you can hear it, but the bonking sound, like a mighty dwarven Forge Master hammering out something on his anvil. And the Chaos Space Marines losing their Rhino again. Chased away. Got a Predator. And the Chaos Space Marines have occupied the centre. Pushing back DD. But now have to return back home. As these guys have got the lion's share of the anti-vehicle stuff. And at the moment, they are now sandwiched betwixt both the Space Marine fighting forces. Got nowhere to run, really. I suppose the choice is, do you smash your horrors through the Hellfire Dreadnoughts, or do you smash them through the Terminators? I don't think either option really is great for the numbers that they have. So maybe just sacrificing them and repositioning all these guys. Do have Chaos Marine infiltration. Ooh, now that is going to be a big problem for the Loyalist Space Marines, especially if they can take out this Librarian. That being said, the Loyalists have quite good access to infiltration detection in the form of their skull probes. Got the Hell Talon coming over once again to do a little bit of harassment on the sides. Chaos Army about to go down. And I suppose, yeah, the only option that the Chaos Space Marines have here is the wombo combo of their Possessed Marines and their Obliterators, hopefully. Possessed Marines got so much more maneuverability than the Terminators, but there are a lot of them now. So I don't know if their damage is going to do much favours for them, especially without their flame upgrade. They're just running around, really. They're a bit lost. Not sure what they're trying to achieve. Is this more Horror Squads? No, it's not Horror Squad. It is a Dreadnought. The regular old Dreadnought. Been constantly rebuilt in the orbital relay. And the Imperial Fists running through the Chaos Space Marine side of things. They've got the Grey Knights. They've just decided to get a little bit of everything. Over here, the Obliterators, Possessed Marines, lots of horrors. An orbital bombardment from DD. And plenty of Dreadnoughts coming in. But they are breaking through some very essential production buildings. So it's a bit of a base trade at the moment, and I don't know if the Space Marines have the same level of punching power when it comes to smashing through buildings. Possessed Marines are known for their ability just to chew their way through rockcrete and all the other stuff, especially when supported by their Obliterator chums. Oh, pardon me. Bit of a king cough as things start to heat up. Even the Dreadnoughts are struggling a bit. Ideally, you want that Force Commander to get involved with the Obliterators. And it seems that they've managed to scare away a good chunk of stuff. They have not gone for the killing blow on Johann Sebastian. But I mean, he's basically been neutered at this point. I don't think he's got... Have you got any people on your side? You've got one Possessed Squad. So maybe killing that building would have been useful for you, but it will take you a fair while to do. So turn their attention over to scouting. Seeing if they can pull back some units. And pull back some units they are doing. Oh, Chain's Atomic, can you finish before the building's destroyed? Yes, it can. Down over here, the Chaos Space Marines fending off and advancing. Adeptus Astartes push. A beautiful, fantastical attempt at a base trade. Definitely doing the damage. I might still yet potentially get there. They're just absolutely smashing their way through every vehicle. Focus firing on each individual as they go through. Whereas down here, the Possessed Marines attempting to do stuff down here, but a Dreadnought is starting to say, no, you're not allowed. Leave us be, please. All sinners apparently fear the Emperor's wrath. Chains upon the Assault Terminator veterans as the Chaos Sorcerer says, you shall not pass, before then passing off back to the warp. Good lord, man. The level of death and destruction across the battlefield. And while it might seem a bit counterintuitive for Scouty to commit so much to this kind of base trade, I don't think this fighting force can really take care of this fighting force. So I don't know, maybe they could just... I don't know, really. I don't think this is going to work out well for them. But who knows, baby, who knows? All's fair in love and Dawn of War. Orbital bombardment just to kind of slightly inconvenience their own assault marines, really. But soon, all chaos will be brought just down to their HQs. There's nothing else I'm missing, is there? No, we've got some cultists, but that's about it. Johan's possessed marines are still knocking around. They've got Scouty's Hell Talons playing in support. About to take down a Hellfire Dreadnought. Scouty also bringing down DD's base to very small numbers. I mean, at the moment, what is it? 13-0, 43-0. Well, right, no. For a second I thought, maybe there's a slight economic piece of parity going on. But, nope, not at all. These guys are dead. Do you have any buildings keeping you alive? You do! We've got a Chaos Temple down there. It's able to keep your boys alive by the hair on your chinny chin chin. And with just the skeleton's crew of army for Chaos, still got potential if they play their cards right. Double Helltones breaking down the sacred artifacts. A squad of Space Marines coming from the Chapel Barracks. Oh, it's looking unlikely, boys and girls, but just might be it. Sorcerer Lord was a little cheeky tie down on the Librarian before then getting slapped down by the forces of the Imperium. Chaos now just being a bit of a nuisance in the centre. It's not looking ideal. Helltones on the barest sliver of health. Doing a good job against the regular old Space Marines, but when you've got a Landspeeder Tempest, give me the old flank and spank. That's you dead. And I do believe, boys and girls, that finishing off with a Dreadnought just punching this Desecrated Stronghold. That is it, so wow, what an absolute bamboozler of a game. Lots of early game aggression from the Space Marines. Beautiful unit compositions that complement each other from the Chaos Space Marines as well. But when those Terminators came out and just locked down the fighting forces down here and then gradually grew in numbers, they just basically steamrolled right hand side all the way to the left. And it was just basically Infinity with his mighty men doing what they can. Almost a bit of a base trade going on. Could have been a 2 versus 1 scenario from the perspective of the Chaos Space Marines, but not quite being able to get that base trade off. And there we are. So cheers, boys and girls, for watching at home. And if you want to support the channel, have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month gets you once a game a week. And there is also a Discord where Discord things happen. Links in the description as always. Mine's been Mr. Landshark. Pleasure's always never short. And I'll see you in a bit. Peace.